Hello and welcome to the program, The Eagle. Glad that you could join us this evening as we bring you up to speed with developments in the fight against economic and financial crimes in Nigeria. My name is Aisha Gambari.
And I am Aisha Mohammed. Good evening and many thanks for joining us.
On the program today, Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, says there's no hiding place for money launderers as he pleaded with legal practitioners to join in the war against corruption.
The EFCC arraigned controversial oil industry chief Jide Omokare and former executives of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation before Justice Binta Murtala Nyako of the Federal High Court Abuja on 9 counts of money laundering and procurement fraud.
Also today, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC secured the conviction of one Lekon Arigbabuwo, a fake herbalist, to 1 year imprisonment. Please stay tuned. The program continues shortly. Don't go away.
Well, my name is Alexander Arvizu. I'm a Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs at the U.S. Department of State. We have a very strong and energetic team here working with our Nigerian partners. Corruption is a cancer anywhere in the world. It's a cancer here in Nigeria. It's a cancer in the United States, in any country. Without eliminating corruption or making a serious dent, it's impossible for the people to realize their full potential. And for that reason, we are committed with our Nigerian partners to doing everything humanly possible to fight against corruption. And so for the people of Nigeria, for the people everywhere, I just say join in the fight, because it's important to be on the right side of history, and we know which side that is.
Thank you for staying tuned. Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, has called on legal practitioners to join hands with the Commission in its bid to rid Nigeria of corruption. He gave the charge at the opening of a one-day workshop organized by the Nigerian Bar Association in collaboration with the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption at the Rockview Hotel in Abuja. Golden Agu completes the story.
According to Magu, the EFCC cannot stamp out corruption in the country without the support of all stakeholders. The EFCC boss said everybody is considered a stakeholder in the fight against corruption, as the EFCC does not have monopoly of knowledge to wage war alone. He appealed to all the legal practitioners to join the EFCC in its quest for a corrupt-free Nigeria for the betterment of the country's generation unborn.
I think we should take everybody along. We should invite everybody to cooperate with us in tackling corruption. Together we can fight corruption. So the desire to bring in everybody aboard the fight is most prominent now.
The anti-graft SAR urged legal practitioners to always play by the rule and avoid being used by corrupt elements to pervert justice, adding that what is important is the interest of the nation, which should be placed above any other interests.
The national interest should come first before any other, whether rule of law or fundamental human right. I think the law can change, but the public interest, the national interest will remain constant. So we should all look at the first, we must consider the national interest, we must consider public interest before any other consideration.
Magu, who commended the bar for being good partners in the fight against graft, however, decried the attitudes of some lawyers who compromise on their jobs for criminals to escape justice. He added that lawyers have a greater stake in the war more than any other class of professionals. In reiterating his commitment towards fighting money laundering, the EFCC boss warned that the Commission will not stop going after people who are involved in laundering money, no matter who is involved, as the law is a respecter of nobody, especially those who commit crime. In his keynote address, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, urged members of the bar to examine themselves with a view to develop workable ways to curb corruption. Justice Mohammed, who spoke through Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, charged them to look inwards as individuals in the system and collectively as a body to improve the legal system. The workshop with the theme Anti-Corruption, Ethics of the Legal Profession and Justice Sector had in attendance other dignitaries including Professor Ise Sage, Chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, and Professor Femi Odekunle, Member, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, amongst others.
Welcome back. In this next report, we bring you a recap of our court cases as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) arraigned Jide Omokore alongside 4 others before Justice Binta Inyako of the Federal High Court Abuja on 9-count charge bordering on money laundering and procurement fraud. Golden Agu again has more on this.
Those arraigned alongside Omokore include Victor Briggs, former Managing Director of Nigerian Petroleum Development Company Limited; Abiye Membere, former Group Executive Director, Exploration and Production of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation; David Mbanefo, Manager Planning and Commercial of the NNPC, Atlantic Energy Brass Development Limited, and Atlantic Energy Drilling Concepts Limited. Omokore is alleged to have used the strategic alliance agreement signed between the NPDC and Atlantic Energy Drilling Concepts Limited to swindle the NPDC and the Nigerian government of monies running into billions of dollars through the lifting of crude oil from some oil wells between March 2013 and May 2014. The other accused persons, who were senior management staff of the NNPC, are accused of conspiracy in inducing the NPDC to facilitate the lifting of crude by Omokore, Atlantic Energy Brass Development Limited, and Atlantic Energy Drilling Concept Limited. They are equally charged with receiving car gifts from Omokore, Atlantic Energy Brass Development Limited, and Atlantic Energy Drilling Concept Limited. The defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges when they were read to them. Based on their plea, counsel to EFCC Rotimi Jacobs SAN asked the court for a date for the commencement of trial. After pleas by counsel representing the defendants, Justice Nyako, however, admitted the defendants to bail in the sum of 50 million naira each, with one surety in like sum. The sureties must either be a director in the Federal Civil Service or must have a landed property in the jurisdiction of the courts. Before taking the defendant's plea, Justice Nyako had requested that the names of the accused persons not present in court be taken off the charge. Consequently, Kola Aluko, whose name appeared in all the counts, as well as former Petroleum Resources Minister Dezani Alison Madweke, who appeared on count 8, were deleted from the charge. Still on arraignments, Justice M.S. Hassan of the Federal High Court, Lagos, granted bail to Nenadi Esther Usman and Femi Fani Kayode, both former ministers and directors in the Presidential Campaign Organization of the People's Democratic Party for the 2015 general election. Also admitted to bail is Danjuma Yusuf, the third accused in the 17-count charge that borders on conspiracy, stealing, corruption, and making cash payments exceeding the amount authorized by law preferred against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The defendants, alongside Joint Trust Dimensions Nigeria Limited, are alleged to have diverted about 4.9 billion naira belonging to the federal government of Nigeria for political and personal use. They, however, pleaded not guilty to the criminal information brought against them by the EFCC when they were arraigned on June 28, 2016. Ruling on their bail applications, Justice Hassan granted the defendants bail in the sum of 250 million naira each, with two sureties in like sum. The sureties must have landed properties within the jurisdiction of the court and deposit their title documents with the chief registrar of the court. The title documents shall be verified by the EFCC within 7 days. The sureties shall also file affidavit of means and deposit their international passports with the court. The case is adjourned to October 19, 20 and 21, 2016 for trial. Golden Ago, reporting for the Eagle.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Now to convictions, as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, secured the conviction of one Lekon Arigbabuwo, a fake herbalist, to 1 year imprisonment in a case of conspiracy and stealing before Justice Lawal Akapo of a Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja. Rolake Odofi Jalayemi has this and other reports. Over to you, Rolake.
The convict, Lekon Arigbabuwo, was first arraigned on Tuesday, February 9, 2016, on a 3-count charge bordering on conspiracy and obtaining money by false pretense before Justice Lateef Lawal Akapo of the Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja. Arigbabuwo was arrested on November 10, 2014 by the EFCC, sequel to a petition by one Ogundele Uluwatoba, who alleged that he was duped of over 3 million naira by the convict, an offence contrary to Section 1, Subsection 3 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act No. 14, 2006. The convict, who had pleaded not guilty upon his arraignment, later changed his non-guilty plea to guilty under a plea bargain arrangement. Upon changing his plea, Justice Akapo convicted and sentenced him to 1 year imprisonment without the option of a fine. Still on conviction, Justice Oluwatoyin Ipaye of the Lagos State High Court sentenced one Olawale Garuba to 39 years imprisonment for stealing from the dead. The convict was arraigned alongside 6 others in July 2015 for conspiring amongst themselves to steal over 30 million naira from the bank account of a deceased customer of a New Generation bank where the convict works. The fraud was uncovered by the bank when they discovered that some of their staff, including the convict, had connived with proxies to steal from a dormant account of one of the bank's customers. Upon discovery of the fraud, the bank apprehended the staff and handed them over to EFCC for investigation and prosecution. Upon their arraignment, they pleaded not guilty to 18 counts of fraud. Subsequently, Justice Ipaye refused their bail application and remanded them in prison custody. However, on June 2, 2016, the convict changed his plea from not guilty to guilty. He was immediately convicted by Justice Ipaye, who adjourned the case for sentencing. At the resumed trial, counsel representing the convict, O. Ajanoku, pleaded with the court to temper justice with mercy in sentencing his client. He told the court that his client was a remorseful first-time offender with a young wife and 2 little children. Prosecution counsel Abba Mohammed urged the court to consider the 3-way traffic while tempering justice with mercy, which he submitted as the interests of the court, the victim, and the convict. After listening to the prayers of counsel, Justice Ipaye said, despite the remorse of the convict, she has no sympathy for him as he compromised his position as a banker to steal from a deceased customer whose money would have been used by the family she left behind. She added,
that the convict allowed his greed to overcome him and risked losing the job that thousands of job seekers are craving to get. She found the convict guilty on 13 of the 18 counts and sentenced him to 3 years imprisonment on each count. The sentences are to run concurrently from the date of his first detention, which is July 24th, 2015. Also convicted and sentenced by Justice Fatu Riemann of the Federal High Court Kano is one Bashiru Musa of Hotoro Danmarke quarters of Kano City on 2 counts of impersonation and obtaining money by false pretense. The convict was arrested by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on August 27, 2012, following a petition by one Shetima Yusuf of Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, AKTH quarters, Kano. The complainants alleged that the convict had offered to sell to him 4 plots of land which he claimed belonged to his father, Alhaji Musa Usman. In his judgment, Justice Riemann stated that the prosecution had proved its case beyond reasonable doubt and convicted the accused accordingly. The convict was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment on each count, but the sentences are to run concurrently. He was, however, given an option of fine of 350,000 naira on each count. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) also secured the conviction of Pastor Emmanuel Marcus Anga and acting Victor Generous before Justice Abubakar Jauro of Gombe State High Court on 2-count charge bordering on conspiracy and obtaining money by false pretense. Anga and Generous are alleged to have, in November 2013, deceived one David Madison into believing that they were employees of Gora Commanding Resources, a foreign exchange investment concern allegedly owned by Philemon Gora, who is still at large, and tricked their victim into expecting that his investment of 500,000 would yield 10% interest on a monthly basis. He only received the 10% interest in the first month of his investment, while all the efforts to recover his money proved abortive. Justice Jauro sentenced the convicts to 7 years imprisonment on count 1 of conspiracy, while Generous bagged another 7 years on count 2 of obtaining by false pretense. The sentences are to run concurrently from July 11, 2016. Justice Jauro also ordered Generous to restitute to the victim to the tune of 500,000 naira. Rolake Odofinjolaimi, reporting for the Eagle.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, hereby apologizes to Gabriel Ogebe Daudu, whose picture was mistakenly used on this program on the 4th of May in place of Gabriel Daudu, a former Kogi State House of Assembly member who was convicted on money laundering charges by the Federal High Court Lokoja on the 25th of April 2016. Mistake was inadvertent, as the Commission has no reason to impugn the hard-earned reputation of Gabriel Ogebe Daudu. The EFCC enjoins members of the public to take note. In a similar vein, the attention of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been drawn to a purported scam email indicating that the EFCC is inviting certain individuals to report to the office of the EFCC regarding a fraudulent transaction. Members of the public should please ignore any message allegedly coming from the EFCC that their banks have sent a report of fraudulent transaction on their accounts. The said mail is not from the EFCC. The public are hereby advised to ignore such messages or report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or facebook.com/official EFCC or through our hotlines 0990445713.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, the program is The Eagle, coming to you from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. You too can be part of this program by joining us on our social media portals at Official EFCC on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Let's take some messages trending on our platforms. One Awal Moga said, and I quote, "I don't know how to thank EFCC for a job well done, but I give them 99% kudos." Another user, ESV Jabrila Amadu Gadzama, says, "The era of impunity is gone. No amount of intimidation will stop prosecution of corrupt offenders."
Thank you all for the encouraging words. We are not going to take the accolades all alone. The success story is made possible by you, for without citizen support, there is very little the EFCC can do. That's it on the feedback segment. Thank you for your comments and contributions. Please don't forget to like our page on facebook.com/official EFCC. You can also drop your comments via The Eagle at efccnigeria.org or follow us on Twitter at official EFCC.
And to watch our programs and other activities, just click youtube.com/official EFCC. With that, we've come to the end of this week's edition of The Eagle. Please join us again next week for another interesting package. My name is Aisha Gambari. God bless Nigeria.
And I am Aisha Mohammed. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.